How's it going, Internet? Adrian here. So today we're going to be taking a look at my new main carry-on from Rimowa, my classic cabin in large that I just recently picked up, and I'm excited to soon take on its first kind of trip and get some mileage around it. This is just a first look and unboxing. This is by no means a review. I do want to kind of put it through its paces before I can talk more to it, but travel in general has been one of the areas this year that I've consciously tried to do more of, both for work and personal, and two, invest more in when it comes to the accessories and things I rely on. And one of those big things is, well, suitcases and luggage. I understand it's not for everybody, and brands like Rimowa and Rimowa are still, at the end of the day, luxury brands that come with a luxury price tag, and whether or not it's worth it is an opinion you can leave up to yourself. But for me, it's something that I've enjoyed upgrading in my life, and I'm hoping this new classic carry-on will be another addition to that collection. So with that, let's take a look.
Okay, so I recently made the decision to finally bite the bullet and add another Rimowa luggage to the collection. So before getting into the one that I recently picked up, here we have the current collection. This is my check-in. This is the check-in large. I got this back a couple years ago for my Asia trip. And then at the same time, we also got this polycarbonate check-in here. So this is not the aluminum version, but this is for my partner in white and silver. And at the time, I just wanted the check-in. She had the carry-on sort of deal, and that was a good combo. But recently, I decided to pull the trigger on a carry-on for myself. And specifically, I opted for the classic cabin carry-on here. So this is the classic Rimowa aluminum in this kind of squared, classic design with the, classic silver on silver hardware and aluminum. And these classic editions come with these nice leather handles that are interchangeable, as well as changeable wheels. So right now these are just the classic black on black and this kind of all-in silver aluminum combo. So again, the classic cabin, dimension-wise, it looks like it's 55 by 40 by 23 centimeters, 36 liters. This is what their silver model. Taking a look at some of the details here, you can see the luggage tag, which they will kind of hot stamp in store for you on a lot of their products. Just got my initials there. And then here's that kind of classic detail with this leather handle. It's a really nice additional touch compared to that of like the polycarbonate or the kind of classic check-in model here, just a standard plastic handle. So it adds a little different flair and design to it. You'll notice the locks are also different on the classic model. So it's like this kind of flat lock. You still have your standard kind of tumbler pad here, 6-digit code, but you have to push outwards on these. So you push out if you're on the top one, down if you're on the bottom one, to unlock these, as opposed to the other kind of classic keypad. So for example, on the check-in, this is a lock pad, and on the polycarbonate, similar sort of lock pad. So this one is more kind of flush, it doesn't stick out, and it just has a different kind of unlock mechanism. Has your standard keys for like TSA, and then you have that same kind of leather motif on the handle on the side as well. So as far as size comparison, you can see this is akin to that of the polycarbonate. You can obviously see the check-in L size very different. They actually have a smaller model of this. So there's like a classic cabin smaller model, which is slightly, not as tall and smaller overall in its footprint. It's a little bit too small for me. It can make sense for certain trips, but for like an average weekend trip or like a domestic flight, this is like kind of the perfect size and akin to what I'm using right now. Whereas the smaller one, again, just was a little too small for, my packing habits. So this was a perfect kind of size there. On the other side, you have these plastic feet to kind of help it when you sit it on its side, so it can be kind of turned like that, picked up by the handle. These handles are pretty sturdy, and like I said, these are all replaceable, so they have a whole customizable line of colors. I did get to see a couple colors in store. At the time, I wanted to kind of just go with this classic black and silver motif, but in the future, I might be changing that up or adding like a pop of color on the wheels, because you can take it in store to get it replaced, but it's also stuff that you can do yourself if you got the tools. Standard telescopic handle, again, 360 kind of wheel spin and rotation. One of the things that these are known for, these really smooth kind of ball bearings in the wheels. And again, closes all the way down. Let's go ahead and open it up now just to kind of show you the inside, which is pretty standard for most Rimowa suitcases. Again, you just push out to unlatch these. And then you lift up. Okay, so here we have kind of top down of the suitcase. Very standard. You have your two sections with your two dividers that are like adjustable. So a lot of the suitcases just have this adjustable divider that you can technically take out, but you would essentially pull these straps, and then that helps secure like your clothes and whatever items you have, and it also helps flatten them down a little bit, so it kind of helps secure them, save space. These dividers also have zippers in them, in which you can store some items that you might need quick access to. In this case, it looks like we got some paperwork, I'm assuming. Oh, didn't know they even included this. So this is just their sticker and welcome to the world of Rimowa kind of manual or pack here. Very nice. One of the stickers that we can definitely use on the suitcase. They're very known for their like sticker sets, and they have locations where a lot of their stores are at, so people tend to collect them if like you're traveling around and stick them on their suitcase to add a little personality. Set that aside. Otherwise, these are just standard kind of compartments here. Nothing crazy, no additional pockets. These liners do have zippers in them in which you can open up. I believe that's so, like, I guess if your liner, I'm assuming if your liner gets damaged, like they can replace this, but yeah, it just exposes like the bare aluminum beneath it, so you can see there. Otherwise, I don't think there's much of a use for that. You're not really going to be putting stuff in there. I guess some people, what I did on one of my suitcases, you can put like luggage tags or air tags in there to kind of help secure it. Otherwise, that's pretty much it, at least like at first look. Obviously, this thing has not been used, so haven't really got to stress test it in the wild. But it's you know, at the end of the day, it is just it's a suitcase, and a luxurious one at that, no doubt, by a very known manufacturer in the space. But it just is an iconic design, very well built, sturdy quality, and I kind of like the look of the aluminum and metal when it gets dinged up and bent. I know a lot of people like are hesitant to invest in something like this because of that, like it's only just going to get banged up and, you know, all of that. But to me, it adds a character. Big fan of the brand. But yeah, this is a look at the Rimowa Classic Cabin in large.